You're listening to the Bourbon Nerdz podcast, episode Pour Some Sagamore on Me.
In the name of love,
I'm hot,
sticky sweet, from my head to my ryes.
All right, well, we've got an awesome episode coming back to you guys. It's been a minute. How you doing, Garrett?
Pretty good. Yeah, it's been busy. You know, we had to figure out some new times to record because of my new promotion, and you've been traveling, and so we just haven't had a good chance to figure it out. So we apologize for the delay, and you know, it happens every now and then. You know, it's hard to stick, you know, to every single.
I want to give a special apology to Aaron Patterson. I know
especially Aaron Patterson.
He looks forward to listening to us on Mondays, and Jamie Summit I'm sometimes too as well. I know when he's driving to work. So I apologize to you guys. We'll make it up to you guys. I promise this is going to be a fun episode.
I just saw Aaron Patterson's sad face when I was like, oh, we're not going to put up an episode. I just know Aaron Patterson's going to be like, oh. And then I saw like a picture of his daughter like painting makeup on his face.
Yeah.
And then Michelle was like roasting him like, dude, Aaron's having a rough week.
Yeah. He needs some Bourbon Nerds in his life.
Yeah. So we're coming to you live. Not live, but we're coming to your car, Aaron. We're here.
Yeah, we're here for you. And everyone else that's been supportive and been so great to us and kind. And we appreciate you guys. We really do. Very humble. And we're going to continue to make great content, continue to challenge each other to get better. I'm working on some big things and putting together a big presentation to share with Garrett on some stuff that we'll talk about in the last call. But anyways, we got an awesome episode. We're going to be talking about the Sagamore Distillery. And newsflash, they're actually in Baltimore, Maryland. I didn't know if you guys knew that Baltimore was in Maryland. Inside joke. And Nerd Rage, we're going to talk about some Doomsday, some fights that have been happening.
Some drama.
We're going to talk about just kind of revisit the Kang rumors and stuff with some of the upcoming movies. Whiskey Sideline, we're going to do a this or that fantasy edition, talk a little bit about some of the players rising and just a few of the sports updates and get kind of our final thoughts before the NFL season. Pop Culture Pour, we're going to start a new little thing called What Are You Listening To? Talk about what we're listening to, actual stuff, bands and things that we're listening to, and share with you guys. Neat and Balanced, I'm going to talk about a little bit of skincare, how to keep yourself from aging and staying young. And then last call, we're going to give some updates on quite a bit of different things. We've got a lot of drops coming. We've got interviews we're scheduling. We've got our pets' heads are falling off. We've got quite a bit of stuff happening. So
Samsonite, I was way off.
Big gulp, eh? Well, see you later.
See you later.
For you Dumb and Dumber fans out there, for you Gen Zers that don't get those references, God rest your soul. All right, well, let's go ahead and dive into Sagamore. And, you know, I really want to talk about Sagamore first off, because this distillery, to me, it does not get enough love. I think
it gets pretty good love from like critics and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. They've won, I think, over 200 international awards. They got Best Rye Whiskey in 2019. But when you, like, I'm just talking, like, when we talk to our friends, when we're out there, and, you know, I've kind of been singing their praises ever since I got that Barrel Select at the Specs Drop, which was probably my favorite bottle that I got at the Specs Drop last year. So I know we're higher on them than most, but, you know, when you're seeing people, what is your favorite rye? What is your favorite distillery? There's just not one that really comes to mind. And I think, you know, if you haven't had a Sagamore product, I think you're sleeping on some of the best rye being made out there. They've got a double oak that's phenomenal. Their 9-year is outstanding, and if you can get one of their,
dent on it,
you've almost drank the whole bottle. Yeah. And then if you get a hold of like one of their store picks and different things, one of that I got from Specs Drop and some of their barrel strength ones, they're just outstanding. I haven't had anything from them, and I haven't had their regular offering. I think they have a $36 regular rye. I don't know if like age 4 to 5 years. I didn't do a lot of research on that one specifically because I like some of their other stuff, but I think they're a really good distillery. I'm excited. They've got, you know, some pretty unique history in how they're doing some things, and, you know, they're located in beautiful Baltimore, Maryland, and they're making some damn good rye. And I think you are missing out if you haven't taken an opportunity to try some of their stuff. So
which ones do we have in our glass here? Let's talk about a little bit about what we have.
Yeah, so we've got their famous double oak Sagamore rye.
It's like a caramel or butterscotch bomb.
Yeah, and it's only 96.6 proof, which is a little bit lower proof, but it's
got a lot of flavor.
It's got a ton of complexity and flavor, and I think it's one of the best double oaked offerings out there. It smells like a caramel chocolate bomb, kind of. I get a little bit of chocolate on the end of the nose.
Yeah, I can
That
see
rye spice. It's like caramel, rye, chocolate, a little bit of just a little bit of chocolate, but
I almost get like a buttered frosting. Like at first I was thinking like carrot cake, but I think it's more of like the buttered
frosting. Yeah.
Cake.
That chocolate's kind of going away a little bit. I just gotta, I guess maybe sometimes, when you get a huge whiff of caramel, it almost gives you kind of a chocolate kind of flavor.
Yeah.
But I definitely get that buttered frosting, that rye, sweet rye, man. Let me take a little sip of Rooney. Oh, and I forgot to say, I've got an awesome blind to trick Garrett. So at the end of this,
me.
Yeah, since he keeps getting me, I'm gonna get him.
I feel like the last blind was pretty.
That was
pretty
awesome.
Interesting.
No, yeah, it was interesting. It was funny because I was like, oh, this is like 110. It's like 134 proof or something.
Yeah, and then 147.
Or yeah, the 147 one. I was like, dude, that tells you the only other 140 plus bottle that's ever drank low like that is Icor from Iron Root, which is one of my all-time favorite bottles, my absolute favorite bottle they've ever made. I nurse that bottle. I love it. I need to get some samples and share it with people. But I'm hoarding it a little bit, but it is a good bottle. This double oak's so smooth. Like it's like butter to me.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. All right. Well, let me,
go ahead and dive in and then
some of this Sagamore stuff. So just a little bit of history straight from Google. Sagamore Spirit Distillery was founded by Kevin Plank, who is the Under Armour founder, which I thought was pretty interesting, and Bill McDermott in 2013 to revive Maryland's historic rye whiskey tradition, which declined after Prohibition. After years of research and development, they launched their brand in 2016 with the opening of a waterfront distillery in Baltimore's Port Covington, which means they're about to turn 10 next year, which is really cool. The distillery utilizes naturally filtered spring water from Plank's Sagamore Farm and Maryland-grown grains to produce their award-winning rye whiskeys. In 2023, the Italian company Leva Serono Holding acquired a majority stake in Sagamore Spirit, which that's the parent company of Deserono, and then Plank retains a minority interest. So just a little quick thing, and their 5-acre distillery is a centerpiece of his peninsula development. So makes it seem, I don't know if he actually lives there and just kind of built around it. It doesn't really specify that, but yeah, their rye whiskeys have won over 200 international awards, including the world's best rye whiskey in 2019. I believe Cody might have mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
And then it says the distillery features an experimental still called Edgar in quotations, which allows for testing new recipes, grains, and yeast strains. So a lot of really cool, interesting things there. It's kind of interesting that they built this up and then sold the majority, but Kevin kind of still remains involved with the whole process. Because, I mean, starting that, it's going to be your baby. It's got to be hard to sell, but at the same time, it's like, man, I could, sell this, make a retirement, and then still kind of be a part of the company that I created. So, yeah, a little bit about Sagamore there. Do you have anything over there, Cody?
Yeah, did you talk about them? Sorry, I'm multitasking here. Did you talk about them being farm to table whiskey?
I did not.
Okay, so Sagamore Spirits is committed. Obviously, they work with local Maryland farmers to grow rye, reinforcing its roots, supporting regional agriculture. And I talked about they've won over 200 international awards. You talked about also the 2019. They use a triple distillation with the spring water that they have. They have an awesome tour, features media, digital, storytelling, and all that. I would love to go visit their distillery.
It does say here that they do use MGP rye whiskey, though, which is kind of confusing when it says grain to glass.
Yeah, I don't know if that's...
I'm not saying that they're not doing all their stuff, but I was looking at mash bills, and it says, so like the 9-year, which I have here, it says it's a blend of 2 mash bills from Indiana, which are likely MGPs, the 95.5 rye malted, the 95.5 rye, and then the 51.45 rye. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Their distillery is pretty large, 22,000 square feet. They've got a 27,000 square foot processing and tasting facility, a 40-foot mirrored copper column still. They have 9 6,500 gallon fermenters, 8,000 gallon beer wall, and a 6,000 gallon mash cooker. I mean, those are pretty massive. And a 120 foot water tower. So, and they're obviously getting good water. I know when we interviewed Rod from Hochatown, he talked about water being very important. A lot of people have commented, and that's why Kentucky's so famous for bourbon, is because they have good water. Jack Daniels.
Why Detroit is not.
Jack Daniels is built upon a spring or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a spring.
The cave thing that they get the water from. So, I mean, water is very important to make good whiskey. So,
sorry, that Detroit joke is because they have like the dirtiest water you ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know, like New York has pretty dirty water, but apparently makes the best pizza dough. So,
hey, I know, right? So maybe bad water.
That's the key.
Trying to think. Yeah, just kind of looking back, a little bit of their history in the early 1900s. So Maryland was among the top rye whiskey producers in the U.S. They had 44 distilleries in operation by 1910. 21 of them were in Baltimore, which is nuts to think of now. Like, that's to tell you how much Prohibition wiped out.
Well, yeah, because whenever I was reading about that earlier, it says basically how I interpret it is pre-Prohibition, Baltimore was really known for their rye whiskeys.
Yeah,
and then
crazy.
Prohibition kind of shut a lot of stuff. And I mean, it did that to a lot of places. Like, not very many places survived Prohibition.
Yeah, but they have 44 distilleries and 21 of them in Baltimore. And then none of them were operational during Prohibition. None of them had a license. And until Sagamore emerged, there wasn't anybody distilling any ryes and whiskey. That's just crazy to me.
It makes you wonder if there were some kind of laws that kind of stuck around after Prohibition.
That to me was the one thing that blew my mind, just looking at how many distilleries were operating pre-Prohibition, how good this rye is, and how I wonder, I'd love to visit their distillery and get a little bit more deep in the history. And I think we're going to revisit some of these. I know we've done episodes, we highlight distilleries, we talk about them a little bit. We should drink the whiskey, share our thoughts. This Double Oak's very good, by the way. Easy sipper, again, 96.6 proof. Do you have the mash bill on it? I didn't pull the mash bill.
I was pulling the mash bills, and this one is the one that pulled up and said it was MGP.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'll have to, let me see. Actually, let me read this bottle. Does this one say distilled in Indiana?
Yeah, they're just good ryes. I mean,
this one says distilled in Maryland and Indiana.
Okay.
So it makes, and that could mean that could either mean they're taking the MGP and then redistilling it.
Yeah.
Or they're combining. So it's kind of like, I'm not really sure what they're doing.
I don't know. We need to figure that out. That's interesting. I don't know. It's good stuff, and it makes sense why it's so damn good if they're mixing some MGP in there.
Speaking of MGP ryes, I just traded my Weller 12 today. Did I tell you what I got for it?
No.
I got the 9-year Tojakai Penelope.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I traded for. I was like, well, I really wanted that bottle, so now I can trade something I'm not really super happy with.
No, that's awesome. I really wanted one of those 9 years. That Tokai Tokai is outstanding.
I'm very excited about it.
You drank like half of mine when we had it up here. I'm just joking.
Probably would have.
This 9 year, the 9-year rye, the side by Sagamore is 112.6 proof, but it's good as well. I mean,
yeah, this Sagamore pick says distilled in Indiana, so it makes me wonder if they, sourced and then they slowly kind of started making their own thing, and now they're just kind of blending them. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I mean
they started in 2013, so I mean they're not super old, right?
2016.
2016?
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they had the idea of 2013, and then they didn't get it. And that could be another thing why it took them kind of so long. And
yeah, it was founded in 2013, but the first bottle hit stores in 2016.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep. And so, and I mean, and that's easy to do whenever, like the founder of Under Armour, dude's got so much money. Like it's going to be an easier, venture than somebody who just wants to open a distillery on their own kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Which one of these do you like the best? They're both very good.
I like the flavors of the double oaked, but I wish it had the proof of the 9-year.
Yeah.
I think they're both really good. I don't know. I'll have to get to the pick before I really kind of pick one. I actually kind of got them mixed up for a second, I think.
Both of these ryes, look at the color on them. They're both kind of dark rye.
Yeah, they're getting some age.
I get a little bit of the same flavors, a little more oak, which is crazy. I don't get as much oak on the double oak that I do the 9-year.
The thing I really like about the 9-year is I'm getting like a cherry note that I really like. So
yeah, dark cherry, toffee.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. A little bit of cinnamon on the finish, a little bit of red, like a red hot pepper.
Yeah, I could definitely see that too.
Yeah.
It's spicy.
It's spicy. It's a spicy meatball.
Spicy meatball.
But it's really good. They're both good. I mean, we don't like every whiskey we try. We try to highlight ones we enjoy, and we will tell you if we don't like it. We're not sitting here. They're not a sponsor of ours yet. I don't know. I would love to do a Sagamore pick, but to come, maybe that'll be a next year vision board thing. But I mean, these are really good. They're easy sippers. Get kind of a lot more caramel in the double oak, which is to be expected. I do get that dark chocolate note a little bit, but they're both really good. I do get a cherry note in this 9-year, which Gary and I both love cherry. That sour, not really sour cherry. It's more of a tart. It's kind of a cherry tart, but not as sour as we get prevalent.
I mean, they're both, and again,
really I don't know which one I like better.
Love MGP rye. So I'm just going to be a fan of whoever produces MGP rye stuff. Now, the question is this better than like what Penelope puts out rye wise? Because I actually really enjoy Penelope rye stuff.
Well, that's MGP.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is if these are both MGP stuff.
We would need to blind them. We need to do a blind, honestly.
We should for sure. And I want to do an MGP rye, like take this with the Penelope rye and then like our Bourbon Nerdz blend, which is an MGP rye.
That toasted rye you have is really good.
Yeah, I love that bottle.
But what I would say is these to me are more complex. I don't know why, if it's because it's a blend or what they're doing, and we need to do. And I'm sorry we didn't do that before this episode. I thought they were making all their
That's why I was confused by the grain glass. But I think they are making some of their own stuff.
Yeah, they're working with farmers and sourcing the rye.
Like Pursuit is kind of doing Pursuit isn't making their own stuff yet, but they're taking different things and they're mixing them and creating new things, which I think is what Sagamore's trying to do. But
that double oak's so good. It's so. I think when we first popped this, you weren't a big fan of it, and I was like, "It's okay," but it's opened up a little bit, and it's delicious. So, all right, well, let's move over to Nerd Rage. All right, Nerd Rage. Let's talk a little bit about. So, lead us off with the Doomsday fight going on. There's a bunch of theories and stuff. I've read a little bit about it, but I'm assuming Robert Downey Jr. was involved, is what I've heard. Or that's the speculation.
Yeah, there's a couple different things.
Him and Ryan Reynolds is what I heard.
Yeah, him and Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, which there's a couple different ones. One of the theories is Ryan Reynolds may have said something that upset Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Downey Jr. wasn't going to take his BS.
Something about his ex-wife and Robert Downey Jr. are good friends with Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife.
I didn't hear any of that.
Okay, that's what I read.
I've listened to some of the speculation, and of course, they're not going to say who it is, but I heard that there could have been some money thrown at somebody to stay on set. So, and a lot of people online are just hating on Ryan Reynolds. They're like, oh, they can recast Deadpool. And I'm like, bro.
No.
You're
not recasting Deadpool.
I get because Blake Lively had some drama with her ex, co-star, and that was a whole thing where, kind of showed some ugly colors with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, whatever. But I don't know. I don't think that kind of stuff really affects my opinion on if he should still play Deadpool or not. It's not like
no. I mean, you're like some of the bad stuff. You got huge personalities,
yeah, for sure.
And Ryan Reynolds is probably making a joke, and someone took it wrong. Have you ever? I mean, I've made jokes before and offended people, and I made upset. It wasn't my intention. When you say jokes, you do it to be funny and try to make people laugh.
Well, and there have been reports. So T.J. Miller, who was in the first Deadpool, I don't know if he was in the second one. He played his friend from the bar. You know who I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So apparently he didn't get asked back because, and he kind of came back on a podcast or interview and was saying, Ryan Reynolds would want to do another take, and he would just be belittling me, and it almost felt personal. It's almost like Ryan Reynolds is using this to kind of actually take real life shots at me, but playing it off like, oh no, I was just being Deadpool. So I've heard some things on set where Ryan Reynolds can kind of be like that, but it's all hearsay. I mean, I think Ryan Reynolds I think he's funny. I think he's the perfect Deadpool. So I don't know. There's a lot of things with with Doomsday, it's such a big project with a lot of personalities, a lot of big A-list stars. I'm sure there's going to be some, things here and there. I've also heard that it didn't involve those guys. It could have involved, someone like Jeremy Renner or, or Paul Rudd or, there's a lot of different things that are being said. So,
but the consensus of information that I've read is it was big time people that they were willing to pay, like money was being thrown around. There was a lot of discussions to make sure that person didn't leave the set.
Well, you can't lose Dr. Doom. I mean,
no, you can't lose Dr. Doom, and you shouldn't lose Deadpool.
You've already paid Robert Downey Jr. $40 million.
One of the biggest movies in the MCU was the Wolverine and Deadpool, which set everything up. You can't lose that.
Oh, so staying kind of on the movie subject, did you see that they announced the sequel Superman movie today?
No, I did not see that, actually.
It's coming out 2027, and they showed Lex in like his big green suit, and it almost seems like a team up of him and Superman. Like maybe they could be fighting Brainiac or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of an exciting thing. I saw YouTube blow up today with news about that, so I thought that was pretty interesting.
I love the Superman movie. I think it's been arguably the best superhero movie. Thunderbolts was really good too. I really enjoyed it,
And I know Marvel did like a sizzle reel at D23 where they just kind of played they played some old footage. I don't think there was anything new, but the Russos got on and talked with Paul Rudd and kind of talked to the audience. So just kind of build some excitement, but I would be surprised if we saw anything about Doomsday until late this year, early next year. So
yeah.
But I'm really excited about it. So.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of continual rumors about Kang. The charges were dropped on him. They're talking about recasting him. They're talking about bringing him back. I have to give credit to the MCU. They do a hell of a job of keeping stuff secret. I know stuff gets out. They've been floating a lot of the Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, the Spider-Man stuff.
That's more marketing to generate buzz because the box office flopped quite a bit from what they expected. You're spending $200-300 million to make a movie and you're netting, a couple $100 million, which is still a lot of money, but it just didn't perform like they expected it to.
I don't know. People just aren't going to the movies as much anymore.
Why do you think? You think it's because of the economy, or I don't want to get in all political debate or anything.
No, I think it's because it's just become, ever since kind of COVID, it's just been easier to watch stuff at home. It's like, I know you're paying $20, but you can watch it from the comfort of your home. You can pause, you can do, this and honestly, the movies aren't coming out super long after theaters to your home. So I think that has a lot to do with it, and people don't want to go and pay $8 a movie ticket and then pay $20 for a popcorn and a drink, which the district here isn't too bad. Like you can get like a combo of popcorn, drink, and like a candy for $13-14, which isn't bad at all. Like I think we can go to the movies for like $40 and it's not a problem. But I mean, that's a lot of money to some people, and I don't know, the economy could not be doing, so well. And so people are cutting some things like that. I don't know. I don't pay too close. Honestly, I don't look a whole lot on those kinds of things. I kind of just stay in my own world, kind of my own thing, what's going on. So, hard to judge those kinds of things.
Yeah, definitely. Agreed. Did you want to do our Mount Rushmore now, or did you want to do...
Yeah, we can do that now. Did you put one together?
I'm putting it together right now.
Ooh, okay. So we were talking about doing a Mount Rushmore of bourbon icons, essentially. Just people who have been really super influential to bourbon. We've been talking about this since the early days of our podcast, and just never got around to it. And I've had it really written on this notes page I have, and I was like, well, let's just do it. So the first one I have is E.H. Taylor. I think he's very instrumental. He's like
absolutely
like you can't talk about bourbon without talking about E.H. Taylor.
The Bottle and Bond Act. I mean, you can't talk about anyone. You can't talk about Mount Rushmore and not have him on the list. It's just not possible.
And then kind of in the same vein, Elmer T. Lee kind of started the whole single barrel thing. Nobody ever really did single barrels, and he's like, these are the best barrels, and kind of went off from there. So I thought that was a good one. Booker No.
Yeah, that's a
great one. And then my last one is Jimmy Russell. Another guy where I don't think you can really talk about bourbon without Jimmy Russell.
Yeah, those are good. So I obviously have Colonel E.H. Taylor. I have Elijah Craig. Obviously, Elijah Craig was a Baptist preacher. He gets a lot. I don't agree with him getting credit for the Chart Oak because they were doing that with cognac and stuff. but he's been recognized first to age his whiskey in a charred oak barrel.
He was one of my considerations for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I had to give him credit for that. What else here do I have? Also, which I as I was doing some research, I just didn't put my list together. I got stuck doing some work, but James Crowe was another one that was big. He was famous for modernizing the bourbon making process, including introduction of the sour mash process. So he's kind of credited for that. And then I wanted to give shout out to James E. Pepper. I know we were big when we first started to him. He invented the strip stamp still, kind of modernized a lot of the new age bourbon distilling processes. So I wanted to give a shout out to him on my list. I know that's kind of because you kind of already I knew you'd have a little bit different, but I think any of the ones we've mentioned, you could definitely consider kind of fathers of bourbon, influential members of people that have transcended the bourbon industry. So that's kind of who I wanted to give some shout outs to. I think those are all pretty qualified people to be on that list. I don't think we have to go into a lot of debate there. Be interested to hear your take. If you want to comment, and let us know who you would put on your Mount Rushmore bourbon list.
Next week we'll post a thing after this episode comes out, and we'll just see what everyone else's opinion is on it.
That'd be great. Yeah, we'll do it in our Bourbon Nerdz chat. We'll do it on Instagram or Tiki Talkie or whatever we want to do it. So let's move over to my favorite part because we are headed into football season in the whiskey sideline, and then I want to talk a little bit about college football before we move on and get your take on Texas.
Before we get too much into the football thing, do you want to talk a little bit about the Kawhi Leonard thing that came out? Because that seems to be blowing up right now. I was trying to understand exactly what it meant.
So there's a huge thing coming out about Kawhi Leonard getting paid under the table $28 million to come to the Clippers, and there's being investigated. There's a lot of paperwork. There's like a 300-page document that shows they propped up this, I think, fake company or something to kind of pay him.
Yeah, I have a thing here. So I'll just read this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it said Kawhi Leonard signed a $28 million, and this is in quotations, no-show job endorsement deal with a fraudulent tree planting company secretly funded by Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. Documents
Which
obtained,
is I think he's the sixth richest man in the world, or he's one of the richest people in the world.
Yeah.
He's super loaded.
Documents obtained by Pablo Torre finds out, allege. And it was to circumvent the salary cap, an inside source says. But the part of the Clippers statement to Pablo was neither Mr. Ballmer nor the Clippers circumvented the salary cap or engaged in any misconduct related to aspiration. Any contrary assertion is provably false. I don't know what that word. So interesting there. I know that's the big thing coming out right now. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a...
No, I think it's really interesting. And I mean, let's be real. Let's real talk for a second. How much of this crap goes on?
I mean, I'm sure.
Just think about we have NIL money. Players were being paid, houses were being bought. I mean, this stuff has been going on in sports, especially in college and in all sports to some degree. I mean, you can't tell me that, and I don't mean to call out Mark Cuban, but you can't tell me that he didn't have some kind of backdoor thing with Dirk if he take a pay cut and stay in Dallas. I mean, look, he works with the organization. I know Mark Cuban doesn't own it anymore, but he's still influential into that whole piece of the pie, except the Luka trade. But skinny Luka, we got to talk a little bit about him too. But he's been killing it in the Slovenia whatever national thing he's been playing in. But
what
he looks
kind of
good.
Competition is out there?
Yeah, I mean it's world basketball. I mean it's world sports. It's like Olympic style. But anyway, still it's Luka, but he looks good. I mean, to me, he's in the best shape of his entire career.
I can't root for any team with LeBron James on it. Sorry.
That's fine. I don't blame you for that. He won't be on very long. So, but I hear you. I'm not rooting for. I'm gonna hate the Lakers, dude. If anybody, and I'm not. LeBron's LeBron. I don't even want to get in that debate and get you all stirred up. So, but all right, let's talk about NFL. Well, let's talk about NFL, and then we'll lead off with a couple players that are skyrocketing up draft boards and different stuff like that. So.
You want me to go with my thing?
Yeah, go ahead with your thing. This or that fantasy edition.
This is kind of a this or that. Some different things. I thought they were really interesting, and I really wanted to get Cody's perspective on them.
And just to be clear, Garrett and I disagree a lot. We're both very successful in fantasy, so it's okay to have a different opinion. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, so I put more likely to have a sophomore slump. Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix?
Jaden Daniels.
Why?
Because so let me give you some stats. And I don't have them right in front of me. I didn't prepare for this because I didn't know he was going to ask me this question. Bo Nix had more touchdowns than Jaden McDaniels. He had more, I believe he had more completions. He didn't have as good of a completion percentage, and he had more yards. So he beat him in some of the most important statistical categories with a worse offense. And the offense, if we look at the Broncos, has significantly been upgraded. You have, I think, a potential top 5 tight end in fantasy-wise. I'm not saying he's the top 5 best tight ends in the league, but Evan Ingram's a damn good tight end. We didn't have anybody that was good at covering and finishing in the middle of the field. He didn't have to safety blanket last year. We didn't have a good tight end. Another year with Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix building some chemistry. I think Cortland Sutton's going to have a hell of a year. I wish I would have got to draft him more. He was going a little high for what I wanted, but I try to stay away from Broncos players because I don't want to be disappointed. RJ Harvey's a guy I really wish we have. RJ Harvey, which is going to be an X factor. I think I believe he ran the fastest running back 40 time. Running back, not overall.
No, I was trying to think. I think there was a different, but I don't have that in front of me.
He was 1 or 2. He was one of the fastest times in the combine. I'll have to fact check that. Please fact check me. You're pouring the store pick now, huh?
Yeah, I finished my 2. What are you snacking over there?
I'm just enjoying these.
Mine weren't very big.
So I think overall the offense is going to be significantly better. Jaden Daniels had a great year. They signed Terry McLaurin. They got Deebo Samuel, but they've got a rookie running back. They got an old Austin Eckler. I just don't know. Broncos have a better offensive line. I just think, you got to look at Jaden Daniels played, I think, much worse defenses than what Bo Nix had to play last year. Bo Nix has a way better offense. Bo Nix has a better coach. I think you factor all those things in. I think Jaden Daniels is more likely to have a sophomore slump. I think they're both going to be good this year. I think Bo Nix is going to be better.
The reason I brought that up is because someone put a video and they said Bo Nix would have a down year this year. And I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting thing.
I disagree.
And, so
I'm going on record, disagree. I think Bo Nix is going to be great. He's a great player while jumping ahead to shooting up draft boards. He's getting picked a couple rounds earlier than he was at the beginning of the draft season. So,
okay. So we have a couple quarterbacks who were rookies last year who were getting.
What do you think about the quarterbacks?
Oh,
I want your opinion, Garrett. You
want my opinion? Honestly, I put these together and didn't really think about it too much. I mean, you said a much better offense. I think a lot of people are down on Deebo because he looked kind of out of shape last year, but he's looking pretty good in this. I think Deebo really could end up being the wide receiver 1 there, and then having Terry McLaurin. Zach Ertz is still going to catch passes. He's not going to be able to run very far, but I mean, he'll catch them. Yeah. They're really big on Bill. They call him Bill, I guess. Whatever his name is.
Ja'Cory,
yeah. They call him Bill. But anyway,
Bill Bradsky.
They were big enough on him to trade Brian Robinson Jr. So I think they're really liking some of the things there. I mean, Washington has a good defense. Denver has a good defense.
So Washington is going to be okay. Denver is going to be elite.
Well, yeah,
defensively,
but they're decent defense.
Just like Houston. I think Broncos, Houston, Eagles are going to be the top 3 defenses in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like Jaden Daniels' weapons a little more than I'd like Bo Nix's. I do like Evan Ingram. I do like Cortland Sutton, but I think Terry McLaurin and Deebo are probably, in personal opinion, better.
Don't
than
sleep
Cortland
on Pat Bryant either.
I haven't seen. I like Marvin Mims. I'm a Marvin Mims
Marvin
guy.
Mims, yeah. The problem with Marvin Mims, and I don't disagree, and the biggest mistake and blunder I made, using ESPN app to do like non-normal things with your fantasy is not easy. You can't do all the league manager tools on it. I did my keepers, and I selected it, and I realized, and I went back to select Marvin Mims as a keeper, and it didn't save it. So I ended up dropping him, and I was really pissed off about that. But my team's loaded at wide receiver. It's not going to hurt me at all. I'll share my wide receiver dynasties here in a second. Well, we'll go ahead and share those because it's amazing. I have Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Lad McConkey, Rashee Rice, and Jacoby Myers. And I think I'm missing someone else.
I don't like Higgins, Rice, or Myers, but
you're smoking crack.
I mean,
that's okay.
They're all wide receiver 2s.
Rashid Rice was the number one wide receiver in fantasy before Pat Mahomes rolled on his ankle.
I think Xavier Worthy could take over.
T. Higgins is probably the best wide receiver 2 in the NFL.
Yeah, you could argue him or like Waddle, but I mean, that's the thing is they're going to be wide receiver. It's like him, Waddle, or like Devontae Smith. Like that's a good argument. Like who's the best wide receiver 2? You know, it's like I don't like drafting wide receiver 2s in the second or third round.
I do for one of the most prolific offenses in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
1,000 yards, 10, 12 touchdowns. I'll sign me up all day for that.
I mean, I would agree. T. Higgins and the Bengals defense is horrid. So I don't know how they haven't upgraded their defense yet.
I don't either.
It's still
give that guy
bad.
A decent defense. They're gonna win the Super Bowl. Like if they get a good defense, they're the team that everybody was worried they were gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to play the Bengals.
Yeah.
They're going to score 60 points.
In some of the, you watch over the last couple of years, some of the best NFL games, and I'm trying to think. There were so many good games last year. Detroit had a couple of bangers of games, but that Broncos-Bengals game was one of the absolute. And I know I'm a Broncos, I'm a fan, and I'm going to toot their horn on that. But that Bengals Broncos game was outstanding.
Try that and tell me what just first flavor. I want you to tell me because there was a flavor that hit me and I'm like, oh my God, that tastes just like this.
Let's get on track. We're doing the old and this is my fault because I'm taking us on a journey.
We'll come back. So
I got excited.
All right, the next thing I have is we have a couple rookie quarterbacks who are taking on their starting roles this year.
It's so dark and rich.
Yeah.
Rich and creamy.
So who do you think will have the better first full season? JJ McCarthy or Michael Penix?
Ooh. Ooh.
I have the one who I feel like personally, but
that's a tough one. I think JJ McCarthy. And the reason I think JJ McCarthy is just how accurate he was, and I get it was like training camp and crap, but like I always watch I don't know why I kept this guy's was popping stats up. If somebody just kept popping up on my timeline. You know how annoying that is when stuff pops up. Sometimes it's good stuff, but sometimes random crap. You say something and it starts popping up all over your timeline. And people listening to us or whatever. But you've got Justin Jefferson. I think one of the absolute most dynamic wide receivers to ever exist on the face of the planet. I think Jordan, and I know Jordan Addison's suspended, but when Jordan Addison comes back, I mean they're a good 1-2 punch. Jordan Addison's amazing wide receiver, gets slept on, and then TJ Hawkinson being healthy, he's easily could be one of the best tight ends in the league. So I just think the overall offense I think is going to be a little bit better. I think they're going to lean a little heavier on the run in Atlanta. They're still going to throw a lot. I think their defense is improved. They're slowly building a better defense. They've got a good secondary from what I recall. And I just think J.J. McCarthy, won college championship. I think he's just overall a better, well-rounded quarterback.
Yeah, so Kevin O'Connell is what's called the quarterback whisperer. And I think
agreed.
Sam Darnold was successful there. Kirk Cousins was successful there. It's like...
And you can't tell me J.J. McCarthy's not a better athlete.
I think he's better than Sam Darnold and Kirk Cousins.
Absolutely.
I think easily he can't. I say easily, but I think also Penix could be pretty good.
I think Penix is going to be very good. I mean, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, when hopefully he gets healthy. You got one of, if not the best running back in the league, Bijan. And Tyler Algier can put in some good minutes, frustrating minutes.
They got Ray-Ray McLeod in the slot.
You got a hell of an offense.
Kyle Pitts should be one of the top tight ends right now. And
as you know, I absolutely love me some Drake London this year. Yeah. I even made a huge trade. First time I've ever done this in my league. We drafted last Saturday, and I made 2 trades right after the draft, which I usually make 1 trade a year, but I did 2 even before the draft started or after the draft finished. So pretty crazy. I got Drake London. I was pretty excited about it.
So what flavor did you get on that?
Let me take again. Hold on. I wasn't paying attention.
There's something that really stood out and I was like, oh, it tastes just like this. That's crazy.
I got like a cherry sour note to me.
I got Fruit Loops.
I didn't get.
I got Fruit Loops and it was nuts. I'm like, holy crap, this tastes just like Fruit Loops.
To me, it tasted like those cherry sours, but they're really sweet. I didn't really get Fruit Loops, but I can see where the.
I got super worried for a second. I saw Stephon Diggs at ACL, but it says Stephon Diggs ready for Patriots opener after ACL. I was like, no, because I have Stephon Diggs.
I think Diggs is going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah, I think he was a value pick.
I dropped Demario Douglas, which I think is still going to be pretty good. I just had too many freaking wide receivers in my dynasty league. I can't start them.
I like Demario Douglas too. So. There's a lot of players coming out of the Patriots that have been like, is it Schism or?
Yeah,
there's Schism, and then there's Kyle Williams. Like, there's so many names there. Like, just kind of a wait and see.
I agree. You got any more of this or that?
Oh, I got a few. Okay, more likely to come back strong with new teams. So these are players who got hurt last year are on new teams.
Okay.
Deebo Samuel or Stephon Diggs. We were just talking about Stephon Diggs. So
yeah, I'm going with Stephon Diggs. I think Drake May is going to be the dark horse quarterback this year. I've drafted him, and ESPN hated me for it. They gave me a bad rating for it, but I don't care. I think he's going to be a phenomenal. I think they're going to double their win total this year. I think Stephon Diggs still has one more good year left in the tank. And I think Debo is going to be pretty solid too, but not. I think Diggs is going to just rise above all and get back and show like he's just a dog. Like he's a dog, you know that.
Yeah,
you got to watch him in Houston.
Yeah, I got to watch him for a few weeks.
Yeah, that's true. That's so sad, dude.
It was.
I hate that for him, but I think everything I've read is that he looks great in camp. That he's getting back to his old self. But again,
they said he easily looks like Drake May's top target.
Yeah, 100%. And
which they've been saying also about Debo. But Debo's also getting used in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, but Terry McLaurin missed the whole freaking training camp and stuff.
Which also I feel like can hurt him too.
Yeah, it did. But he'll get, dude, Scary Terry is going to be fine. He's not, he'll finish over Debo.
I still think Debo could finish the
I disagree.
I
disagree.
I think Debo is a better player overall.
At his prime, but he's kind of fallen. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Debo's good. I like Debo, man. Debo tore up Dallas a couple times, man. Yeah. I used to love that meme. The guy from Friday that rides the bicycle. They had Debo riding the bicycle.
Debo's coming.
Yeah, Debo's coming.
All right, we got a few rookie running backs that I'm curious who you think will have a better season.
I'm sure I'll have an opinion. Let's go.
Amarion Hampton, Travion Henderson, or RJ Harvey?
Dude, that's such a evil question. I'm going to go with Hampton. Here's why. One, the Broncos are going to use J.K. Dobbins until they can't use him. They're going to use RJ Harvey a lot. He's going to be kind of the X factor player, and I think he's going to eventually take over and be a stud. Travion Henderson is a stud and going to be a superstar, but he's going to share a lot of carries with Ramondre Stevenson until Ramondre Stevenson gets in the doghouse. Amarion Hampton is clearly going to be the guy. And I watched a clip, and I was talking about this in at Brian's house when we did the draft. I watched a clip from Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry went to the Hall of Fame game, which was the Chargers and whoever else was playing, the Rams, I think, or whoever else. And he asked the players, "Hey, is there anybody standing out at camp, or anybody you guys are, really?" No, just were kind of standing out to you guys, and the whole defense said Amarion Hampton. They said they hate tackling him. This guy runs so angry. And that really stood out to me. And
it's funny you bring that up because I actually was listening to a thing earlier, and it said they went to Washington and said who's been the player that has really kind of like blown you guys away, and almost everyone said Debo.
Okay, that's
so
cool. No,
that was pretty interesting.
But if you're not at camp, you can't blow people away. So, but yeah, I think Debo's got a good chance. I still think Terry's going to be the number one guy. They had such a good chemistry last year, but I'm going to go with Amarion Hampton. But I think all three of those guys are going to be very good rookies.
So the reason I picked all three of those guys is because all three of them have like a veteran that's kind of been the guy.
Yeah.
Which Najee Harris is on a different team, and he shot his eye out with a firework. So.
But Najee Harris is literally one of the statistically least productive backs of all time when it means to your yards per carry type.
J.K. Dobbins hasn't been super consistent.
He hasn't been healthy ever. Last year was the first year that he actually was healthy.
No, I know. And I'm not taking that away from it. Like even last year, he had. I mean, he looked decent in some games, but he wasn't running very efficiently. Yeah. Just kind of like Ramondre. Ramondre is another guy who's not really running.
And it wouldn't surprise me if RJ Harvey finished right there or ahead of Henderson or Hampton. But I just think Hampton has the clearest path to being a number one running back.
Oh, for sure. I pick Hampton also, but I think
that's
they all have very similar situations and all in good offenses. So
yeah. And next year when we do like a full fantasy pod, and we may do a couple of them, what I want to do is some bonus pods or discussions that we offer our Patreon. We'll have a Patreon by then, which we hope you're supporting us. We'd greatly appreciate it. But I've got awesome, cool names and stuff. I can't wait to share with it. But I wanted us to really have all the stats and stuff and be prepared, which I kind of was trying to do that. It's just been a crazy time for both of us. You get a new job, changing schedules. I travel a lot, so it's been tough. But anyways, you got any more? Is that it?
Last one.
Okay. Last call.
And this is kind of just off like the last.
No, I love it. This is a fun game.
So who is the better handcuff and maybe better way to the top? Zach Charbonnet or Ollie Gordon?
Oh my God, dude.
Because Ollie Gordon's been popping up a lot lately. Which, to be fair with Ollie Gordon, dude killed it like 2 years ago in college and then just like was stacked boxes all year last year.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously hurt
was
his
like the worst they've ever been in like the last 30 years.
He should have went out into the NFL last year.
He should have.
And he would have easily been a first, second,
but they
or third
tried to bring
rounder.
the team back to make some noise, and they were
it only hurt him. Now he's working his way, which I think he's one of the most talented running backs.
And training camp and in the preseason.
No, the dude's good. I knew he was good from
running
OSU.
people over like that. Yeah. So I'm going to pick Zach Charbonnet, and the reason, and I'm just going to point. I don't have the stats in front of me. I'm sorry, we don't have a stats team yet, but look at what Zach Charbonnet did when Kenneth Walker was out. He was putting over 100 yards every game and had 1 or 2 touchdowns. If you draft Kenneth Walker, you have to have Zach Charbonnet. It's just, and Kenneth Walker is very kind of injury prone. He's a great talent. I love him this year. If he stays healthy, by God, he may be a top 3 running back, easily top 5, top 10 for sure. There's no. I think that's a low floor for him. But if he doesn't, Zach Charbonnet steps up and performs. So I'm going to go with Zach Charbonnet. He's proven it. Ollie Gordon looks great. I think he's got a great path. I wish I would have drafted him more. I should have known better because I'm a huge Oklahoma State fan. I know he's a good talent. I know he got kind of screwed over last year. He had a little bit of nagging injuries and stuff that kind of set him back. But I'll go with Zach Charbonnet.
Hot take.
Oh,
you ready?
You're going with Ollie Gordon?
I am going with Ollie Gordon. You know why? Okay. A-Chain is not
healthy.
A 4-down back. He's not a 3-down back.
No, he's not. 100%.
He's very talented. He's very athletic. I think Ollie Gordon could potentially come in and take some of the goal lines. He could take some of the early downs.
I can see that.
Even Tyreek Hill called out A-Chan not long ago, and he said, I guess they asked, like, what can you guys do better? And he goes, take out A-Chan on 3rd down. And I was like, whoa, just calling him out, bro. Also, so a statistic I found interesting. So the Seahawks have a new offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, who is a more of a zone runner scheme. And there was a statistic last year where Kenneth Walker with zone runs is much more successful than Charbonnet. Like Charbonnet, like on zone runs, averages like 3.5 yards a carry. He just struggles with zone.
Okay.
Where Kenneth Walker, so the offense last year favored Charbonnet a lot more.
Yeah.
Whereas this year it should favor Kenneth Walker a lot more and could cause Charbonnet to struggle.
Okay.
And so that's
a good point.
That's where I was kind of thinking, like, because Charbonnet on inside runs or whatever they were doing last year, it was like it was a crazy like 4.5 yards a carry, but when in zone it was like 3.5, 3.3. And then Kenneth Walker was kind of the opposite. He was 3.5, 4 yards a carry on the inside, but on zone runs, he's like something crazy like 5.4 yards a carry.
Yeah, that's insane.
So I think that's why I was huge on Kenneth Walker this year, because if he stays healthy, I think he could be a top 3 back.
Yeah, agreed.
Personally, because I think he's just very good, and I think Seattle's. I don't think Seattle will be great. I honestly feel like who's that quarterback? It was Darnold, right?
Yeah.
So I think Darnold's probably a better quarterback than Geno Smith. But I mean, and Gino's an upgrade over Aiden O'Connell in Oakland. So I think these teams will be a little better than they were last year. But yeah, that's my argument for Ollie Gordon over Charbonnet. I think Ollie Gordon is very talented, and I think he hardcore slipped. And the Dolphins, I mean, they traded, which I say traded up. I think it was Ollie Gordon. One of those guys was like a third round evaluation, and then he just went kind of later.
Yeah.
It was either Ollie Gordon or another player. I might be getting him mixed up with someone else, but in the Dolphins, I think they got the guy that they actually really like. So.
Yeah, no, and it's exciting. I'm so rooting for Ollie Gordon to do well. Oklahoma State guy, so I think he's very talented, and I'd love to see nothing more than him do well. I think Zach Charbonnet is just a man-child beast of a running back. I think he has a lot of potential, and I think he can adjust to a different run scheme. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. Ollie Gordon easily could have a path, with injuries and different things. You've got, two backs that are already injured prior to the season starting. They're supposed to be, A-Chain's at least supposed to be ready for week 1. I'm not sure about Jalen Wright, but yeah, it'll be really interesting. So I think this were good, this or that. So I want to talk a little bit before we move on, and I don't want to belabor, but two games that I watched. The Ohio State Texas game, which I was really excited about, but it really wasn't an exciting game. Very low scoring.
Very defensive game.
Yeah, very defensive game. You got two powerhouses. I think Texas is a little overrated. Personally, I don't think they should have been the number 1 team, but it is what it is. Ohio State clearly will take that spot. I think they'll drop down to number 3, I believe, is what I saw in the new rankings. But I think people are being a little too critical of Archie Manning. I understand he's a Manning. He gets hyped up. That kid is young. He hasn't had a lot of snaps. He hasn't really done a lot, but he has the makings, the intangibles. Like you can see some of the throws he made, and he missed some throws, no question, but he's got an arm. He's got, he's starting to make, he needs time. Like
he has Hall of Fame uncles.
Yeah, he has Hall of Fame uncles, but, and I don't want to just put it because he's Manning.
I'm saying because I'm sure that they have a lot of stuff that they work with him on.
Oh, absolutely. He's got the probably set up for just being set up for success with practice. Peyton Manning is one of the smartest quarterbacks ever played the game. And Eli, obviously beat Tom Brady twice. So, I mean, that's not nothing.
Being a wild card too.
Yeah. Being a wild card.
A lot of people were really hating on him. And I think that was not really called for. They kept throwing the Nepo baby like, oh,
there were some terrible drops that literally could have got him in scoring, or they could have scored. Like there was some third down. He hit the guy right in the hands. I forgot the tight end and the wide receiver dropped the ball.
That touchdown was a dot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
It was a dot, dude. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, my God.
So I think Texas is going to be fine. When I say overrated, I just don't think they should have been number 1.
I mean,
they're
imagine
top 3, top 5.
Imagine
team.
coming into the season and your very first game is against debatably the
best
team that doesn't lose at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, okay.
Unless you're Michigan.
Yeah, unless you're Michigan. But
that's their kryptonite, though.
And that's kind of what sucks is that's a very exciting game. But can you imagine if that game was played 4 or 5 weeks from now? I bet it would be
a different story. Let Manning settle down a little bit. He'll start nerves, everything. Season 1, he's got so much. Like being the number 1 team, being new to football, and he only played a few games, I believe, last year. I know he was in a couple times or whatever, but give the guy a chance. We'll see what he does next game. I'm hoping he'll bounce back and see. I'm not a Texas fan.
And people were commenting "Oh, you guys will treat Shedeur like you do, but not treat Arch Manning like." And I'm like, bro, dude got his jersey retired by being mediocre. It makes no sense. Shedeur is like the Bronny James of the NFL.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, Shedeur is much more talented than Bronny James, but he's still 4th on the Browns depth chart. And that Deshaun Watson.
You really hate LeBron.
I think the Bronny thing was really.
silly.
Yeah,
I agree.
He
should be in the G League if anything.
He should still be in college.
Fair.
He probably would have been. He averaged 3 points a game off the bench for a really bad USC team.
Fair.
Then he gets drafted because of his dad. Then he gets a $10 million contract, which is unheard of in the second round.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Yeah. Daddy's boy. So, okay. All right. Also too, Florida State. And then what about Lee Corso picking all of his games correct? That was awesome.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. And I guess that was his retirement. He's done, I think. I I think he's done. I think that's the last week. I think he was just going to do 1 week. I believe.
I think people overlooked Florida State because 2 years ago they were.
Yeah, and last year they were terrible.
Last year they were bad, but their defense was still really good.
Yeah, their defense was
their
good.
Their offense just struggling, and so this year that quarterback didn't throw a ton of yards, but dude, he has a freaking cannon.
Oh yeah, he does.
He's throwing like 50-yard bombs,
and their defense looks legit. So anytime Alabama loses, it makes me happy. So I was really happy that Lee Corso is the only one that picked them out of the guys that were picking games. So I thought that was really cool. I'm really excited about watching some college football. I hope they continue to rein in the transfer portal and NIL money and all that stuff, which I think they will. But it's good. And NFL's coming up hot. We got Cowboys, Eagles. You want to? This will come out after that game, but
it will. So
I think the Eagles are going to beat the Cowboys. I don't think it. And then Micah Parsons. We got to talk about Micah Parsons trade.
Micah Parsons going to the Packers.
This is so controversial, and and I posted too soon. I should have finished my thought when I said, because I think Cowboys should have traded Micah Parsons. And yes, I know the debate for when you signed Dak Prescott, you made a decision that you really couldn't afford to sign Micah Parsons, and CD had to get the money, so you're paying him no matter what.
But then they re-signed Bland the other day.
Yeah, they did
for a pretty good amount of money.
Pretty good, but it's not Micah Parsons.
Not Micah Parsons money, but I saw that I was like, oh damn!
The question,
almost the day after.
A couple things. One, they could have shopped him. They didn't do that. It was obviously from what I heard, I'm putting all the pieces of the puzzle. I did a little bit of research, read several articles, listened to sports radio. I was coming back from Honduras. I got upgraded to first class, and then I got stuck in Miami, which sucked, which is crazy. The first time that I've ever seen this happen, they canceled all the flights from Miami to Texas due to air traffic control, jamming or something, weather. They didn't provide. I was pretty pissed off at American Airlines. I stood in line for 2.5 hours. They didn't give me a hotel voucher. I actually need to follow up and complain about that. But I have status with them, which I'm not trying to brag or anything. But yeah, I was really disappointed. They gave me this, by the government regulations, we don't have to give you anything, blah, 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 whatever. People were pissed off.
Cool, I'm going to Southwest. See you guys.
Yeah, should have. Honestly, the American just has flights to everything because the Miami goes to everywhere I need to go in Dallas. So, but anyways, getting back to Micah Parsons, like they could have probably got a second, maybe a third. They got 2 first-round picks. They got a good player with Clark, who was a 3-time Pro Bowler. I know he's getting up there in age. I think he's like 30-something. But apparently there was a deal. So there's a lot of speculation on TikTok and Instagram. A lot of people don't even know what they're talking about, which is really pisses me off sometimes. People just put these videos out there and like, I'm going to tell you. So apparently Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones had a verbal agreement to sign a deal. And this is what I've gathered by multiple sources. And I'm not saying it's accurate, but I'm saying it seems pretty close based on how things played out. And then Micah does what probably any player should do. They have their agent, which he has a very good agent. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he represents a lot of players. And he gets him involved, and the market changes. TJ Watt gets paid. You have some other contracts that go through. I believe Myles Garrett or somebody else got paid. So the market shifted, and they wanted more money. And Jerry Jones got pissed off because that's what Jerry Jones does. And they basically couldn't come to an agreement. They weren't willing to go over a certain amount of money, and then they traded a potential Hall of Fame player, one of the best defensive linemen in the league. When I say it's a good trade, it's all about the money and what the Cowboys can afford. If you tie up that much money with 3 players, you just have no flexibility in the NFL, and you're not set up to be successful. So is it smart to trade Micah Parsons? No. Could they have gotten more? Absolutely yes, but I still think it was the right move for 2 reasons, and I'm going to tell you. The first reason I just told you, because you can't tie up that much money in 3 players. You shouldn't have paid Dak. Let's get that out very clear. You shouldn't have paid Dak. Secondly, you can't continue to be held hostage by players, like holding out. And, if you made a deal verbal, at some point, your word is all you have. You've got to, and there's nothing wrong with getting your agent involved. And I know that can get very tricky in NFL and NBA and different things. But, I think Jerry Jones took that very personal. He had a deal. Mike is a very flamboyant, outlandish player, a lot of energy, a lot of passion. He rubs people some the wrong way. There's been reports. A lot of people loved him. Some did not like him, whatever else. So they didn't want to be tied to that franchise player. It kind of goes back to kind of the Luka thing. Luka was a very difficult player, I think, to deal with. Look at his complaining with the refs, and they didn't want him to be the face of the Dallas Mavericks.
I know the Stars came out after that Micah trade.
We got Rantan.
Yeah, we still have Rantana, guys.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I love that. That was awesome. So, but I think in hindsight, they should have done it differently, no question, but I think it was the right move. So let me be very specific with how I frame that. What are your thoughts on it? And then we'll move on.
So Micah Parsons has come to the casino a couple times and played table games, and he has very questionable friends, for sure, that don't want to listen and then get kicked out for wanting to do weird things at the spa with the with the masseuses. So,
okay.
But onto the trade part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Micah Parsons is good.
He's a great player. There's no question. You can't deny that.
Well, and I saw a lot of people where they're like, "Oh, he disappears in big games," and which isn't something I really notice because I don't watch a lot of Cowboys games. You know what I mean?
He only, I think, rushed the quarterback 4 times or hurried him or whatever. I think in their last playoff game, I think is what they're referring to.
Yeah. I do want to go back a little bit to your holding players hostages or holding teams hostages. Yeah. I absolutely hate when I see NBA players like, oh, I want to be traded, but I only want to be traded to these specific teams. I'm like, hell no. You know who has the number one or some top picks? The freaking Charlotte Hornets. You're going there. We're getting a top pick.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that there's so much. There's so much in the players' hands anymore, and like they forget that there are owners for these teams, and they are the ones making the decisions. It's like, and then I don't know. It's wild that they're like, oh, I want to be traded, but I only want to be traded to these teams. Like, oh, we'll see what we can do for you. You know. So I do agree with you there. I think if they had a verbal agreement, which is weird that they had a verbal agreement before the agent was involved. I'm not really sure. So, but I mean, he got paid with the Packers, and the Packers defense is pretty good. I mean,
Packers they've had a very good defense, and I think the Packers are going to be they're going to be a pretty damn good team, and Micah Parsons definitely gets them maybe to that next level. I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles, but I definitely think they're going to be solid.
I think Golden could potentially be one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Yeah,
definitely wide receiver 1 for the Packers.
For sure. He looks very good. He's been solid. I think he's got a lot of potential. I wish I would have drafted him more. Cool. I think that's it for Whiskey Sideline. Let's move over to Pop Culture Pour. So let's start out with, what are you listening to? What have you been listening to, Garrett, lately?
Well, Spotify reminded me earlier that I was top 3% of 3 Days of Grace listeners last week.
Dude, you're famous.
They released a new album with the old singer Adam came back to the band, but is still singing with Matt from, he used to sing in My Darkest Days, the porn star dancing. So I've never really been the biggest 3 Days of Grace fan with him, but with Adam coming back, it really kind of brings a lot more old vibes to the group. And so I actually really enjoy about 75% of the album. So, I thought they did a good job. I'm seeing them, I think it's October 12th, whatever that Sunday is, at Choctaw. It'll be 3 Days Grace and Breaking Benjamin. So looking forward to that. So that's kind of the newer one. I'd have to pull up my Spotify. I should have pulled that up earlier.
Yeah, no, I'll just say, and then we don't have to go into like everything. I just figured you'd give a band or something.
Deftones released a new album.
Oh, I haven't listened to it yet. I heard it's
super good.
Dude, I love Deftones.
Gives them White Pony vibes for sure.
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time. I love White Pony.
But those are kind of the two main ones that are newer that have kind of come out.
Two bands in more country Red Dirt type. Red Clay Strays. I've been jamming out to them a lot. I think they have really good. You should check them out. There's a lot of passion and into their music. Listen to the words and lyrics, and I don't know if it resonates with me right now because of everything that's going on or whatever else. But I've really been digging the Red Clay Strays. They just hit. They're one of their albums just hit platinum. They're getting a lot. They're on top 50. country hits. They're starting to get a lot of popularity. I think their voice is very unique. If you're looking for something new, check them out. And then Turnpike Troubadours, they came out with a new album not too long ago. They're kind of getting back together.
Let's listen to a lot of them too.
Yeah, and I heard that they've renewed to do the Stillwater event next year.
I was just about to bring that. It was funny. I was just looking at. I was trying to look at the dates because they did re-announce it, and I saw Shane Smith and the Saints are going to be there. I actually really like them.
Sweet,
a lot
yeah,
too.
Shane Smith and the Saints. I met one of their band members that is from Stillwater. He used to hang out some of the same places. We were talking to him when Levi and I were at the lounge in the casino. So pretty cool.
Yeah, it says it is going to be, I think it was in April. Let me just double check here. Yeah, I believe it's in April. It doesn't show me the dates on any of these for some reason, but yeah, I believe it's April sometime. So they are doing the Boys from Oklahoma. It's going to be a lot of the same ones, but I know Shane Smith and the Saints will be there also. So just, it went really well last year, so why not run it back?
Yeah, no, for sure. I will definitely. That'll be an event I won't miss next year, and I was really sad that I wasn't able to make it this past year. I know you had a good time. So, what else you got? Pop culture report? Anything else?
Yeah, I have a few things.
Okay.
So, you ever watch Dexter?
I watched the first couple seasons, but I didn't watch it. It's a good show. I just, for some reason, I fell out of favor with it, and I really didn't have a reason. It was a good show. I should have watched it more.
Yeah, it's really good. So they did Dexter Resurrections, which the finale comes out tomorrow, which will have already passed whenever this episode comes out. But it's been really good. Peter Dinklage plays this rich dude who likes...
Such a good actor.
Yeah, he likes to collect serial killers, and so he gets all these serial killers together, and then Dexter starts to try to pick them off one by one, pretending to be a different serial killer, and... So it's kind of revitalized the whole Dexter thing because they've kind of struggled with the last couple of things they've tried to do. So it's really nice breath of fresh air for the series. So anyone thinking about, I know a lot of people were kind of hated the finale of Dexter and kind of didn't really care too much for New Blood, but this one's been really good. So if you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend that. Also, I got very hyped on YouTube a couple weeks ago. I saw I know it's already kind of through towards, I think the season might be over now, but Twisted Metal, this thing came on. Did you ever play Twisted Metal back in the day?
Spectre.
You remember Dragula from Rob Zombie was like the theme song for like Twisted Metal 2 or 3. Well, so
I played a lot of those.
So in season 2, apparently they show up for Calypso's tournament, and he tells them to get in their cars, and the tournament's going to start, and then boom, it goes, "Dead I am the sky," and I'm like, dude, that's taking me back. And so I need to go check it out because I've actually heard the second season is really, really good, and it really kind of plays off the old video games and stuff. So I've heard really good things about Twisted Metal. I'm going to check it out. So if you guys played the games back in the days and haven't checked out the show, I've heard good things, and that scene just kind of really kind of gave me goosebumps and brought me back to back in the day when you're eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew Code Red, and you're just playing the PlayStation 2. And
no, dude, that game's so hard too. Like I remember you having to use some cheat codes, getting the tank, whatever that tank guy was that you could get.
Nemesis,
yeah. Which that was a cheat code.
And Nemesis apparently shows up later in the
That's awesome.
series.
Yeah,
so.
no, I'll have to check it out. I mean, I really enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite games.
Well, and I heard
friends and stuff.
I heard iffy things about the first season, and I was like, I don't really know what they're doing. And then the second season, they finally get to Calypso's tournament. So I think that's it. Like it was from
kind of build up of the
I think
because there's a lot of character stories.
So the first season was like a 60% positive, but then the second season's been like almost 90%. So it's just like a huge jump.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
It looks really good. So I'm really excited. I'm gonna go check it out here pretty soon.
Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll have to add that to the list. I haven't really watched a whole lot of shows lately. Just been busy.
And then tomorrow, me and Danielle are gonna go watch the new Conjuring movie, which I don't have high hopes for it because of the director choice. He directed the last Conjuring, and I thought that was pretty average. He's basically made average horror movies, and they just keep bringing him on because they're making money. But you never know. It could be a good one.
Yeah, but the whole Conjuring universe is great. The Conjuring is probably my favorite horror movie of all time, the original one.
I mean, the problem is there's been 3 good movies out of like 10.
Yeah.
Like the first 2 Conjurings, and then Annabelle Comes Home. All the rest of them have been below average, and it's just frustrating because it could be really good.
Yeah. I mean, you know more about horror than I do, so and
it's not. You can tell a good horror movie by if they're actually trying to put some effort into building story and characters, or if they're just trying to throw scares at you.
Scares at you, and then cheap scares.
And that's how I kind of looking at this new one is like, it just seems like they're just trying to throw jump scares out there. But it could be entertaining. I don't know. Like there's been a lot of bad movies that I've enjoyed. So, just because sometimes they get bad ratings doesn't mean they're always bad. But I have been pretty disappointed by the last few Conjuring universe movies, like The Nun, The Nun 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's about all I really had for Pop Culture 4.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to move over to Neat and Balance. I'm going to talk a little bit about men's skincare, kind of anti-aging, kind of the process. Like, obviously, some of us, and hopefully your listeners, you're getting up there in age, and even if you aren't, you should really think about, different things to protect your skin. It's definitely something that becomes more prevalent to you the older you get. You get in your mid to late 30s, early 40s, especially when you're headed into 50s. So I just wanted to give a few tips and things that are easily done. And, some of it doesn't cost too much. I mean, you can get up there. I think I talked about going to Ulta with my family and Ulta or whatever it is in Sherman. And I bought 2 things and it was like $130. And I was like, geez, or 3 things. But anyways, protecting your skin, so number one is, the sun, UV rays is, one of the biggest causes for premature aging, causing dark spots, leathery wrinkles, all that. Just using a moisturizer, it's easy to get. There's a lot of good moisturizers out there that have 30 SPF. Hats and sunglasses obviously add additional protection. A lot of you wear that, but just, using something as simple as a moisturizer, which you should already be doing, washing your face in the morning, or if you're taking a shower or whatever, and just put on some moisturizer with SPF 30. It's not that hard. Number 2 is hydrate and moisturize. So obviously we all know drinking water is good for you, right? Keeping your skin cells healthy and plump. Applying a daily moisturizer, anything that has some hyaluronic acid or ceramides. Is that how you say that? Ceramides. Can really just keep your cells moisturized, keep your skin from dying. There's a lot of night creams that have peptides and different things that help repair skin overnight. So there's a lot of different things you can do from a moisturizer standpoint. Washing your face before you go to bed. All those different things I think are really important. And then I think it's number 3 is just really maintaining a consistent skincare routine. That's something that I never in a million years would have thought was going to be important, never cared about, never did. And now I have a consistent skincare routine, and I promise you it's made a difference. I exfoliate, which is, going to be number 4 on my list. But having a good skin, well, that's a part of the skincare routine. Really just make sure you exfoliate at least once, twice a day if you can. Clean your face, not a bar of soap, use a different cleanser and different things that you can, be careful what you use the cleanser, be mindful of buying cheap products that have harmful chemicals. And then there's a lot of shampoos and skincare products that have harmful chemicals in them. So just be very mindful of that. So number 4 is, sleep and just kind of good habits in general, like sleeping 7 to 9 hours is really important. I know sometimes it's really difficult, but trying to go to bed earlier, trying to, build good sleep habits is so important. And I've already talked about that. I had a whole podcast, Neat and Balance segment about that. Your diet, berries, leafy greens, good in omega-3s, collagen's really important. That's something I've added into my protein regimen, getting some collagen for your skin. It helps the elasticity, which keeps your skin, tighter, obviously. And exercise, improves your circulation, whether you're walking, weightlifting, weight training, all that can help your skin. And then number 5, you can try to find a good anti-aging products. There's a ton of different eye creams and retinols and retinoids out there that boost collagen levels, reduce wrinkles. At least doing that 2 or 3 nights a week. There's some vitamin C serums that you can look that will brighten your skin and, protect against the sun and other things that kind of really help your skin be helpful. And then, if you're like me, all my age in my face is really going under my eyes and dark circles. So, using a proper eye cream and really cleaning your eyes and like I said, a moisturizer and different things like that really make a big difference. I can tell significantly if I go a day or like I'm traveling and I didn't take my eye cream, I missed on one trip, and I can really tell it a big difference. So, buy it. And there's a lot of different products out there, and I can do a whole segment over that because I've tried basically almost every product. But I'm being very, and I don't know the product. I bought it. I'll have to share it with you guys on the next podcast. But eye cream I'm using, I'm really digging it. It was a little bit expensive. It was like $50 or something, but it's definitely made some progress. So just something you need to start thinking about. The earlier you do it, the better you are setting yourself up to just keep your face healthy, keep you looking younger and healthier. So I wanted to share that. I think that's really important on the neat and balance. So especially if you're drinking alcohol and doing all the other crazy stuff. So, all right. Well, that's going to take us to the last call with the Bourbon Nerdz.
So I actually have just been messaging this guy. So for our Bourbon Nerdz Fantasy Football League.
Yeah, for all you people that didn't join, you're going to miss out.
We are playing for which Ethan can give us a much cooler drum roll, a 2023 GTS.
Hey, so I need to win the fantasy league this year.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Good luck.
I like
Lamar's
my team.
Lamar's taking me to the promised land.
Who do I have? Hold on, let me pull up my team for that. I've got so many freaking fantasy teams this year.
Yeah, I do. I have a lot more this year than I have in past.
I don't have a lot. I just have one more league. I had to drop a league too.
But I did drop my dynasty league, so it kind of.
I'm still in my dynasty league.
Bro, my team looks awesome.
There were some questionable drafters in our league.
So Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Bijan Robinson and Kyron Williams at running back.
Yeah, solid.
Marvin Harrison Jr., DK Metcalf at receiver, and then I got Ted McMillan in my flex. Tucker Kraft at tight end.
Yeah.
Then on the bench, I got RJ Harvey, Chris Olave, Debo Samuel. I just picked up Cam Scatabo.
I dropped him.
Oh, were you the one who dropped him?
Yeah.
I picked him up because I was like, I could have some running back
solid.
depth.
I picked up Ollie Gordon. That's why.
Oh, yeah. And then take Bigsby. I
wish we had one more bench spot. I need one more, and I'm not dropping Judkins because I believe
or another flex spot.
Over. Yeah, another flex spot.
Another flex spot because I have Olave, Samuel, and Harvey just chilling on my bench.
So this is the league. I've got Drake May, who I believe is going to be a top 10 quarterback this year. I got Genty, Swift, London, McConkey, Kittle, Egbuka, Bills defense, and Boswell is my kicker. I've got Josh Downs, which I believe in a lot. Ollie Gordon I picked up. Caleb Johnson, Judkins, and Calvin Ridley, which Calvin Ridley's not even my starting lineup. I think, should I start him over Egbuka? I don't know. Who do you start? Who would you start, Calvin Ridley or Egbuka?
Oh, that's tough.
Tough.
I think the Buccaneers have a much better offense.
Yeah, but Ridley's going to be getting a lot of targets.
Ridley's probably the safe bet, but Ibuka's probably got the best.
My team's stacked.
Upside.
Kittle's going to vie for potentially top 3 tight end. I think McConkey's still going to, and yeah, their offense is better, but I think McConkey's still going to.
Yeah, in this league, I was like, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take a quarterback early, and I took Lamar in like the third or fourth
I like
round.
Swift this year. That's the only player I'm a little iffy on, and I need Caleb Johnson. I think is going to be solid. I think Judkins is going to sign and eventually be the number 1 running back in Cleveland, which doesn't mean a whole lot. I picked up Ollie Gordon and dropped Cam Scabo. Cam Scabo, I think, has some potential, but he just looked really slow in the preseason, so.
He's not the quickest running back.
He's definitely not, but he's
pretty solid.
He's got good hands.
He's like a slower Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's a slower Christian McCaffrey, which I don't know if I want to sign up for that. But anyways, as long as stay healthy.
What's your team name on here?
Whiskey Men, which I'm going to change it.
So you're projected to finish 11th, and I'm projected to finish.
That doesn't mean
5th.
anything.
No, I know. I'm just looking at this.
They gave me a terrible draft because they said my weakness is at quarterback and kicker.
They put Jamie as the number 1 team.
I don't know what his team is, but
he took Saquon at number 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is interesting.
Questionable.
He's got Josh Allen, Saquon, Kamara, McLaurin. Roman Doomsday is his second receiver, which I don't love.
I don't know. Roman Doomsday has a lot of potential.
I like a Doomsday more as like a flex. He took Tyler Warren, which I was like, dude, how did you even know about Tyler Warren? He got James Conner.
He took him early too.
Yeah, he's got James Conner as his flex.
Yeah.
He's got like Travis Hunter.
I took tight ends early this year.
He hasn't put Mixon or Addison in the IR spot.
You can't put a suspended player in the IR.
But Mixon's out. He could put
Mixon in. Yeah, and pick somebody
else. You can't put suspended player in the IR?
No. Not in my leagues that I'm in, other leagues. But anyways. So we've got a lot of exciting things. There's a lot of drops coming. Whitesboro. Is it Apollo Whitesboro?
Oh, I forgot to talk about labels.
That's okay. We can save it for next episode.
Yeah, we can do it next time.
We've already got tons of stuff. Whitesboro's doing a drop. I think this Saturday, Black Tie's got their Eagle Rare and some other Elijah Craig store picks.
Elijah Craig,
I think Knob Creek too.
Had a really funny label. It was like an Office reference.
We've got the Grapes and Grain, which we are going to be out full Bourbon Nerd support. We're going to raffling bottles, probably giving away some T-shirts and stuff. That's on the 27th.
Yeah, and so so far for the raffle, we have an Eagle Rare 12, an Eagle Rare 10 store pick, and a Goose Island bourbon aged ale. And then I think Theron has mentioned maybe donating something. I thought you maybe mentioned.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not really sure.
I was maybe because if we're spending all of our money and on one bottle, I may just donate to the Bourbon Nerds.
That's the Elijah Craig tater sticker.
That's sweet. I love it.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I saw the Cole played. That's funny. They did some pretty good ones. They got some good stickers. Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to say no to an Eagle Rare store pick. I don't know if I'm going to go Saturday. I really haven't figured. I'm living it day by day right now, man, to be honest. So, but yeah, we've got some exciting things up. We're planning a Michter's episode, which I think is going to be exciting. If you haven't had any Michter's products, they're slowly becoming one of my absolute favorite distilleries.
Yeah, we need to do the 13th Colony episode.
Yeah, we've got to do 13th Colony with Daniel. We're going to do, drink the Double Oaked, which is one of my favorite bottles I've ever tasted. I'm going to pop open my 15th anniversary 13th Colony, which is supposed to be a banger of a bottle. So, and yeah, that should be a fun episode, and it'd be good to have Daniel on and just talk and we're working to schedule a blendery interview, working on a couple other distilleries and different interviews. So I've got to start pounding the pavement on them. I've been kind of trying to reach out to a few others, which we'll get scheduled. And then we're hoping to have within the next week or so, I'm hoping to start, finalizing our Patreon, which we want to get up before the end of the year, which we could absolutely use your support. It's kind of why we haven't had, things filmed yet. Things have been a little bit slower, and we've been a lot busier than what we originally expected, but we're trying to continue to stay focused on this and, continue to bring you good content and good value. And we want to do things the right way. We're not trying to rush things. So, but we're really excited. I think those are some things to look forward to. And then we've got some other events and stuff planned. I want to get Bourbon Nerdz karaoke night where we can at least get together and sing fun and hang out. Trying to find a location for that. Working with Jamie Summit as the Whiskey Agers Whiskey Lounge, wanting to do a flight night special, Bourbon Nerdz night there. And then we want to, round out with a bottle share before the end of the year. So lots of things that we'll get. I promise you, we'll get booked and scheduled to give you plenty of time to make it. We had some fun, small crowd for the Bourbon Nerdz draft in person, but we had a lot of fun, and we got some new people that were.
Well, and that one was kind of last second, so yeah, I think we scheduled. I think most people are cool with getting together who are in the league. So
absolutely. So we'll have it planned better next year and all that, and hopefully we can do a live draft. I think that's just so much fun. We're in that one league together that I won last year. Your league and you won the other league. So, but yeah, I'm excited, and I'm excited to take home some trophies this year. What else? Did I have anything else?
I think the cool thing about my league though, is we did it so early that I got a bunch of value on players who have moved up quite a bit now. I feel pretty good about my depth in that league.
Whether you're a bourbon nerd getting into bourbon or just, casual, whatever, go into a bourbon drop is a lot of fun. You meet a lot of cool people that have the same passion as you. And yeah, we're really excited, but now before we close out, I'm going to do a blind. Garrett's going to leave the room, and I'm going to pour 3 different bourbons for him. You can use one of my glasses, sir. I cleaned it for you. And he's going to tell us his thoughts, and we'll go from there. So this is fun. I get to do it. And then, so Ethan will have to delete some of this, but no big deal.
Here I go.
2 hours later.
All right, Garrett's coming back in. 3 glasses in front of him. And don't mix it. Keep them in the order because
Do I get a hint?
They are higher proof bourbons.
It's just got a strong butterscotch caramel nose on it.
It's a delicious pour.
Man, this one smells great, whatever this one is. Do I know what these are? Have I had these before? Because if I don't know.
Okay. You've had all 3 of them.
Okay. I'm going to try to
one of them has been very recent.
Okay. I'm gonna try to take a guess on these.
Sure.
Are we doing like 1, 2, 3 like this?
Yeah, so that that'll be 1, 2, 3. So that'll be 3 right there.
Okay. One's got a little ethanol on the nose, kind of burned my nose hairs a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Not picking up a lot, like almost like a slight creme brulee, like kind of like the.
This is glass 3
sugar.
he's talking about.
No, this is this one. This is
That's
glass 1.
3.
Oh,
No, that's 3.
okay.
Yeah, you're doing 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
one is it's just a caramel bomb, really.
Yeah.
Caramel, I almost smell like a banana Laffy Taffy, which is kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Definitely caramel, or I kind of get caramel and butterscotch kind of mixed up. And it's got some good flavor too. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to guess what these are. That one definitely.
I hope I didn't
flavor.
mix those up on the order. I don't think I did. I think I got them right. No, maybe I did 1, 2, 3.
Well, you said that way, and then I started over here, and you're like, "Oh, you're starting with 3," and I'm like, "Oh, well, I'll start over here." It doesn't matter.
I think I did 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Okay.
My bad.
You may start up. This one has a lot of sugary vibes coming down. Like it's very, very sweet. I would have guessed this is a double oak or toasted or something, just because of how sweet and
Yeah. It's okay.
That's interesting. Okay.
Curious to see which one you pick.
The middle one's got kind of a weird, note to it that I don't love. Almost kind of like the plasticky note I get off of rums, right?
Yeah.
So I get that kind of note with some light whiskeys.
It's not a light whiskey.
It's not a light whiskey?
These are all bourbons.
Okay. Is it finished? Are any of them finished? Or are they all just straight? They're just
all
straight bourbon whiskeys?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't love that one. That one's got some good notes. I'll tell you what, though. This one, whatever this one is blowing everything else out of the water right now.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah, that one's my favorite.
All right. That's the Jefferson's cash strength.
It's really good.
Remember when we first fresh cracked, we said that's Jefferson. So he picks Jefferson cash strength.
This one's number 2.
That's benchmark full proof, and then that's the Blue Corn Smoke Eye Hill barrel proof.
I'm just not feeling it. I don't know.
No, that's fine. That's the George T. Stag Killers. I think Fred Minnick or somebody said, but no, that's awesome.
I get a weird note on it. I don't know what it is.
So
Dude, this Jefferson's is good, dude.
This was me to highlight how good this Jefferson's Reserve. I know a lot of people are haters of Jefferson's. We're not big fans of Jefferson's, but this limited edition cast strength, which runs 130 proof, it's outstanding. It's very good. It's probably going to be my surprise bourbon of the year. Surprise whiskey of the year is going to be Lasso 18 so far, but I really think this bottle is underrated. I think this could compete with Stag Juniors. I actually have a Stag Junior. If you want to we could do a side by side, but we can do that next episode maybe. But for time purposes, but
and I gotta go mow after this. So
yeah, that's fine. I'm motoring
before I try to work equipment.
Drink responsibly, everyone. But yeah, no, that was fun.
I'll tell you, nose and flavor. This one blows the other two out.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I would have expected it to, but it also goes to show that still benchmark foolproof, still hanging in there.
I mean,
Can't compete with 130 proof cash strength. This bottle's a firecracker, man. This is just such a great bottle. If you haven't tried it, go out. If you find it, run across it, buy it. It's a great bottle, and I'm
pretty sure I said a lot of really good things on our Jefferson. Oh, I haven't even released that video. I forgot I had that. I need to release that Jefferson. Video? No, I forgot. I forgot it was a part of the Damon stuff, and I released a video, but I didn't do the Jeffersons. I'll have to do that one. I need to go edit that video later.
So I have 131 proof Stag Junior or Stag. It's just Stag. They don't call it Junior anymore.
That one wasn't it a batch 16, maybe.
I could be wrong. But yeah, cheers to you guys. Again, thank you guys all. Please like, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go to our YouTube channel. We're slowly encroaching 500 subscribers, which I know is not a whole lot, but it's a lot for us. And we really could use your support. And please, if you know a friend that loves bourbon that hasn't listened to our podcast, share. Our videos are starting to get a lot of popularity, especially our hunting videos. We're getting a couple thousand views, 100 or not 100,000. That would be great. Hopefully one day. But yeah, we've got some great content, great interviews. If you haven't listened to our previous episodes, just comment, let us know if you want us to highlight a distillery or you want us to try. And we're going to be doing some more review videos sooner than later. So it's something I want to start adding to our repertoire. We've been trying to focus on hunting videos. They've been very popular. So we're going to try to continue to provide good video content as well as, podcasts that we will eventually video and have on so you can see our faces and build a connection. If you see us out, say hi. Love to talk to you. Love to talk about bourbon. I could sit there and talk about bourbon all day long and give you, it's funny because I've been getting a lot of people like, what is your go-tos? I've been building lists and stuff for people. At some point we're going to be putting that stuff on our Patreon and different things in our group. But I try to share everything in our Bourbon Nerdz chat first or Bourbon Nerdz group that we have on Facebook. So if you haven't joined that, join that as well. But that'll be anytime we have an event or something, that'll be featured on that and first come, first serve on that. So, and then my goal is to get a store pick done before the end of the year, talking to several different people about that. So hopefully we'll have something for you soon and information on that. But I'm Cody.
I'm Garrett.
And we are the Bourbon Nerds. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it.
I want to end this by saying I think Fred Middick was on crack when he tried this corn and said it was better than George C. Stack.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This Jefferson's is amazing now.
It is very good.
All right. Thank you guys.
See you guys.
See you next time.
The Bourbon Nerdz podcast is hosted and executive produced by Cody Mills and Garrett Welch. The show is produced, mixed, and edited by me, Ethan Adams. The show features original music by Alex Pitts. You can find the Bourbon Nerdz on all the major social media platforms. Please follow, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. It really does help the show. Please don't hesitate to send an email or message on social media. We love to hear your thoughts, comments, and bourbon suggestions. The Bourbon Nerdz would like to remind the audience to always drink responsibly, know your limits, and never drink and drive. Be sure to check in every Sunday for a brand new episode. Cheers!